should we start Sergi or Semedo?
Well, as long as Ernesto Valverde is the coach, I think we all know who will start. It's Sergio Roberto. But to be fair, if Barcelona have been targeting the right players, none of them will be started at Barcelona. But at least Semedo will be a decent backup. I think if we are to keep both, Semedo should be the starter most of the times because I know most of the people on Twitter, most Barca fans think that Semedo is the defensive fullback and Sergio Roberto is the offensive one, but Sergi is not offensive at all. Like people think he is offensive because he's bagging assists. I guess he has 7 to his name this season. But
Yep.
what people neglect is the fact that most of his assists are really overworked. None of them are good crosses. None of them are smart passes. None of that. Most of them are overworked, just like the header, the Suarez header in El Clasico, just like the chip. All of them are just random passes that somehow the forwards convert into goals.
So
As
like you
for
think, yeah.
yeah, what's the question?
So I was thinking that you might say that basically Roberto's assists is mostly based out of luck, that it's not like intentional.
Yeah, you can say so. Like, of course, he intends to get the passes to the forwards, but it's not really a high quality assist. It's just a pass. The forwards put a lot more effort into transforming that pass into a goal than it is the other way around.
I agree with you on that one. So basically, but the thing is, Roberto has his flaws, sorry, and but Semedo does too. Like Semedo actually, he's the only really good thing he's got is basically his speed. But other than that, like he's really fast, like basically like Alba, but on the other side. So it's kind of hard to decide. Like, what do you think? Say if Sergi came back to the midfield and giving Semedo his like the starting spot basically. I know under Valverde that would be like kind of tough to have, but Sergi back in the midfield, would that be like a possibility?
Well, recently there are rumors based on the interview of Ernesto Valverde after the preseason game against Chelsea. They said like he will try with the well, I quote that he will move Sergio Roberto to midfield while he will give Semedo and Wage the chance to fight for the right back spot. I think if that happens, if that occurs, it will be a really good thing for Barcelona. It will be a really healthy competition between the two. And yes, Semedo has a lot of flaws because positionally, even Sergio Roberto is more correct in his positioning than Semedo. But he compensates with his pace, and he's way better defensively than Sergio Roberto because Sergi he offers his forwards, his winger, a lot of space. Meanwhile, Semedo closes in. He always sticks to his winger. I think that, and on the other hand, there's Wage, and he's a really promising fullback. He's really explosive with his dribbles, with his crosses. He's very aggressive with the ball at his feet. And I think next season will be interesting if those two are our main right backs.
I did watch, yeah, as you said, Wage play with Barca B. He's really promising and like he's got a lot of potential. But then again, if say you move, and what Ernesto Valverde said about moving up Roberto, then we have like five or six midfielders like Rakitic, Busquets, Alenia, De Jong, Arthur. All those are gonna be like right there waiting to play, and knowing his love for Rakitic, the youngsters like De Jong, sorry, Arthur and Elenia are most likely not gonna have like enough playing time, especially considering if Roberto comes back. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how Valverde manages that. Unfortunately, it's sad to say it, but on my side, I don't have a lot of expectations for that because, well, let's not lie to each other. Like Valverde is not the best coach for that, and it's really gonna be interesting to see how he's gonna manage like the Sergi and Semedo situation. But I do agree with you on the fact that Wage and Semedo would be a really healthy competition.
Actually, while we're speaking about this, I think that the more quality players and the more big names Ernesto Valverde gets in his squad, the better for us. He will have a lot of problems figuring out who to play and a lot of big names, a lot of big egos to manage. one day he will lose it. He will literally go nuts. And that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that day where he will lose total control of the dressing room. That will be a big day, a great day for us.
I think so. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. That he's and we've seen him already lose control, like sort of, especially in big games, like against Liverpool, against Roma. So it's like he has control in league games and whatnot. But come important matches, he starts to lose control, and having that pressure on his shoulders, that doesn't help either. And since you're speaking about big names, we do know that Griezmann is now official, and he even played his first match with us. Knowing that Coutinho, Dembele, Messi, Suarez all are here up front on the attacking parts of the field, what do you think? Like, do you think it's gonna be a Griezmann, Suarez, Messi trio, or like it's gonna be our new trident, or is Valverde gonna try and play Coutinho and Dembele too?
Realistically speaking, I think Ernesto Valverde will do the same thing Lionel Scaloni did with Argentina. Lionel Messi behind the two strikers, Griezmann and Suarez. Of course, that's not the best front line we can field for next season because we all know Suarez is declining, and if him and Griezmann both occupy the striker positions, there will be a lot of problems, say, in which areas to occupy individually. And but they will offer Messi a lot of options, willing runners on front. That's always a good thing. I think the best option for next season is to field Messi as a false nine with Dembele on the right and Griezmann on the left. Griezmann will be sort of free. He can make all the runs he wants, like Suarez in the beginning of the 2017-18 season. If you remember, he used to occupy
Yep.
a left forward role, and he always made the runs from wide to the box for clipped crosses from either Sergio Roberto or Jordi
Or
Alba.
Alba, absolutely, and that's the problem I think with Barcelona is that who's gonna replace Suarez? Is it gonna be Griezmann? Knowing that he played as mostly as false nine and left winger with Atletico Madrid, it's gonna be kind of hard to tell, especially that there's Coutinho and Dembele. That's what kind of strikes me most. Like we signed Griezmann, but we have so many options now. Are we gonna sell Coutinho and Dembele or just one of the two? Especially considering the Neymar saga, like are we gonna give them up both of them to get Neymar back? It's kind of a hard question. Like I would like to see like a double pivot. A double pivot formation next year with say De Jong and Busquets at the back, and eventually Griezmann on the left. But then Coutinho on the bench and Dembele probably on the bench too, and that would be basically a waste of 150 million on both sides. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that our best front line, just like I said, would be to field Dembele on the right and Griezmann on the left. And speaking of Coutinho, I really want him gone, sold. Uh, he's worthless for us.
Like most of the
For,
Barca fans, basically.
yeah, exactly. Like speaking of relative worth, Coutinho for us is worthless, absolutely nothing. So if we are to get rid of him in a trade deal, yes, I'm taking it. Even if some might deem that we're not getting any money from his transfer, it's not totally true. We're offloading wages, a lot of wages. He earns a lot of money, and he doesn't deserve even like the quarter of what he earns. Like I guess he's the third highest earner of the team behind
He's the
Suarez.
third most paid guy of our team.
Yeah, do you think,
Wow.
honestly, do you think he earns such money?
Oh, I don't. He might be earning it, but does he deserve it? That's another question. And I honestly, the way he's played last season, I don't know if he deserves getting this much. And he definitely didn't play up to his potential and to his price tag. I mean, 150 million, that's a big price tag. And honestly, with the season he's had last year, I honestly have big expectations for him. If not, as you said, I'm all for him to leave, even if we lose money. It's like it's too bad, so sad, but it is what it is in the end. And if we have to lose money to get rid of a player who doesn't contribute, I mean, when he was playing in Liverpool, he always had this special kick of his where it's like a curved ball from outside the field. I think we saw it maybe once or twice this season, but apart from that, he didn't do much. Honestly, he did have a few sparks here and there, but I don't think he should be part of our attacking trio next year. Like now that Griezmann is here, I think that Coutinho is most likely going to the door now.
Hopefully, actually, I hope he is sold, traded, whatever. As for the Neymar saga, I think it's died down for the past few days. It's not as hot as it was a few weeks ago. I think it's only paper talk now. He's not joining, I guess. So if Neymar stays at PSG, we better just offload Coutinho and Rakitic, both of them, and count on Dembele, Messi, Griezmann, Suarez, and Malcolm up front. Uh, that's that's a really good front line, even the subs, because Malcolm, Dembele, I guess both will be happy to be benched in case their performances are not that good. Meanwhile, you get a lot of goals, a lot of work with the Griezmann and Suarez.
Well, that's the thing. Before we close up, I think that we have a lot of potential even on the bench. If we had a good coach, or even if Valverde improves, which I don't think will happen, but we have a really strong squad, especially our front three, like Malcolm, Dembele. If we are to use them properly, we could have a deadly trio up front. But the thing is, if you saw Malcolm play last year, it was maybe 1 or 2 games. So honestly, the way Valverde is handling is going to be it's going to be really interesting to see next year how he's going to manage all that, especially as you said, there's so many big names coming up, and it's just a lot of pressure on his shoulders to, especially considering that Barca are being mocked every year now for bottling Champions League. So that's going to be really a very interesting feat to see next year.